Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow. In today's episode, we're going to have another fun interview episode where I've taken one of my friends, that I've grown up with within the anime, and we went to conventions together. Today, we're going to have a little talk with my friend Sheldon. Okay, Sheldon's one of my friends that I sort of met really early when I was getting into Japanese animation. Again, he's really a really close friend that really helped me out because he said that he himself understands a little more and has a bit of background with Japanese. And we went together down to San Diego Comic Con, and even before Anime Expo and that kind of stuff came out, he was again went down to some of the really early trips down before we had these sort of road trips going on. So that was really kind of good. So we're gonna have some talk about the various different things and that and whatnot. And I'll post some little pictures and that kind of stuff, and we'll sort of go over some of the stories that we have over that. Okay, so before we begin, reminder when to go down below, click like and click subscribe. I now have turned on my Patreon page as well, which now contains material that is not especially as suitable for YouTube consumption and that kind of stuff. So I've managed to put it all together on a page of that, as well as it gives you an opportunity to request and do different things on there. So again, you can have ability to check that out. A link is below. Feel free to take a look at that as well. Okay, as well. If any of the people like to support me, I also have activated various different things on the YouTube, including the thanks button as well down below. All right, so again, I don't require it, but again, if anyone is interested in that, I have that available. All right. Okay, so in today's topic is another interview. So what I'll do is let's go ahead to the pictures and sort of go explain it from there. All right. So without further delay, let's begin. So when did I exactly meet you? Or did I meet Dave first and then...
Oh, you met Ron and Dave first.
Oh, I know I met Ron first, that's for sure. I'm not sure I met Ron.
Yeah, it was Dave. It was Dave then, yeah. Oh, Dave lived closest to you, right?
Yeah, Dave was the closest to me. I don't quite remember how I met him.
Wasn't Dave had an apple?
Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Dave had an apple.
Yeah, Dave was part of the Apple group. Okay, so I start with this picture of me standing in my basement suite of my first place that I had when I moved into Vancouver. Now, again, I've already put up some videos showing different parts of this particular room, but here's a different angle of me just showing the the just sort of what the kind of view when you kind of walk into the room anyway. And you can see that I've got various different anime, small sort of anime things in the room and that. But again, this room has a lot of Apple kind of stuff, right? And as the reference made it is that I joined this club called the Apple Alliance, which is this sort of an Apple support group for mainly Apple, 2 Apple IIe type of support group, and it basically allowed me to meet other people who are also interested in obviously Apple computers and that kind of stuff, but also that's just where I met Dave. Okay, now in my previous video, Dave was the person who drew that K picture on Andrew's cast. In the previous video, again, if you want to go back and you want to listen to the story of how that happened, that'd be great. But anyway, so it seems to me that Sheldon reminds me that yes, I've met Dave through the Apple Alliance group, and of course, also with that, I've also met up with Ron. Now, Ron, of course, is the person that as mentioned here. I also came from the Apple Alliance kind of group. He always rode around with that. I remember he once went to a UBC and we were just bombing down the highway going to UBC on a scooter, and that was really kind of really cool and that kind of stuff. And then of course from then, this is how I met Sheldon. And we used to get together and we used to have like sort of like impromptu dinners and that kind of stuff. whatnot. Sort of the festive Christmas dinners is usually what we did. And we used to come have the guys come over. We hung out and watched anime and that kind of stuff. And so this is different things that we did. Mom went to your school, right?
No, he didn't. He was in.
Because he went to like Templeton or something, didn't he?
No, he went to Hamburg.
Oh, Hamburg. Eric Hamburg.
But we were at the same elementary school.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it's just that occasionally we ran into him. Last time I saw him, like before meeting you, was at a friend's place, because we were still D&D.
Oh, right, yes, that was playing D&D.
Yeah, we were doing D&D in grade 9, and then we were like just so busy after. But we couldn't, get together because of that. And everybody got bored with D&D, so we just never got. Yeah, there was one where we were trying to finish off the whole. Spring break only give you so much time. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so Sheldon makes an interesting point here that even though we may come from different schools and that kind of stuff, but some of the things that we do or some of the hobbies that we have are all the same. So one of the things that he comments is that Ron and Sheldon used to even though they went to different high schools, they still played D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons. And even at this time when I was just following the game stores and that kind of stuff, even in my high school, my science teacher, Mr. Schweitzer, he had during lunchtime, he had a D&D campaign going, and I remember we had a bunch of people and that kind of stuff, having characters, and he made this dungeon, and we throughout the year during lunchtime, we would play through this campaign, and it was. I guess it was the thing to do. Like, it was really popular. I remember I used to draw a lot of the artwork and that kind of stuff out of the monster manual, and I was big fan of the deities and demigods manual, and it was really I guess one of these type of things that, even though we had all these different tastes and whatnot. We're all getting into this sort of anime thing. We all came from different sort of backgrounds, but even with those different backgrounds and whatnot, we had a lot of things that were in common. And I think a lot of people in our in this early starting era of anime, we all had a lot of similar interests and similar things. Whether it's sci-fi, whether it's Star Trek, whether it's Star Wars, whether or not it's Doctor Who, or Dungeons and Dragons, whether or not it's Apple computers or Amiga computers, this sort of thing sort of is very similar to with a lot of people that started with anime at this time, and I think that's one of the things that sort of drew us all together as one of the things that we found ourselves in common with. And then all those little places that we used to have to go to get videos, like that little tiny shop with YouTube video and all those really scummy places down in like the downtown east side. Oh my god.
It wasn't that bad back then.
There was remember that there was
Kona wasn't that bad. It's just
well, yeah, true. I don't. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't think. Cause I used to always go down to old Chinatown, right?
Right.
And maybe in that little square around Main and Hastings, that was really about it, right? But there's lots of like little shops and that kind of stuff there. I remember constantly going to those things, looking for anything. Maybe you find the old Dragon Ball thing, or find a statue for that. Remember, MAL used to always go into that store, look for CDs, and the street that never transpired was Powell Street, where all those Japanese stores were.
yeah.
Because there's that one store, I can't remember what it was. No, it was that Japanese grocery store that kept all the video cassettes on top of the fridge.
Fujiya, probably.
Yeah, could be Fuji. I don't know if it's Fujiya or something. It might have been. An early version of Fujiya. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember Dave got me interested in Gundam, right? Zeta Gundam and all that kind of stuff, and that place had like all these tapes of Gundam and that kind of stuff on top of their meat freezers and all that kind of stuff, because that's the only place you could put them, right? And it wasn't bad. It's only like $2 or something like that to rent a tape of random episodes of that. Only problem is that like the episodes were all like totally messed up, like just randomly on the tapes.
Draco, you ran into Asia in this source.
Yeah. I don't know when I ran into Asia. I don't quite remember. I'm gonna have to reach out and see if I can get in contact with them again. But yeah, you're right. I remember somewhere along the way
You met Asia.
I met Asa. I'm not sure if it was just one of the when we had the Trout Lake meetings or something. Maybe I might have bumped into him. Either that or I met him through Dave. Possibly. But yeah, him and Yoshi with all the tapes that he was getting from Japan. That was so good. I'm trying to think which one it was. Well, what'd you do then? Okay, just remember. Okay, do you remember what hotel it was?
The Holiday Inn J-Town in San Francisco.
That was the year we went with Richard, right?
Yeah. Who does the executive in San Diego.
Right. That's the year we went in different cars.
Huh?
The year we went in different individual vehicles. That was like we all had to, that was, because Richard took the land yacht.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, this really old.
Yeah, no.
Not that year?
That was just, yeah. Yeah, that was, I think
an old year.
That would have been scary.
Yeah, that was one of the years I had to take a turn driving driving through Grants Pass in the dark. Okay, so here you are. We're trying to basically remember which convention and corresponded to which trip that we had happened to. Again, Sheldon was with us for a couple of different trips that we did earlier on, and it gets kind of foggy and confusing which one goes with which. But this sort of reminds us of the one that we went with our friend Richard, and in this particular year we went with the thing they referred to as the land yacht. And so what had happened on this year is that we had gotten so many people that were interested in going to the con that we couldn't fit everyone into one car, but we decided we needed a second car to put everyone to make it more comfortable, right? You want to stuff 5 people in a car, you want to try to get an extra person, right? So we decided, to get another vehicle. Richard stepped up and said, "Okay, yeah, I can, bring my vehicle." But the problem is, of course, his vehicle that he had at the time was this really old Oldsmobile. That's what we called it, the land yacht, right? It's just the big, huge vehicle for the time, and gas guzzler and everything else like that. But it was roadworthy, and we basically drove it. And I made a mention of the fact that we had to go through Grants Pass. Now, for all of you people who don't know what that is, Grants Pass is at the entrance to California. From the Oregon side. So basically, when you're traveling from Oregon, you have to go into this mountain pass to get into California. Okay, now Grants Pass is notorious for being really, really a taxing thing on a car, because if you try to go through Grants Pass during the day, you basically got aircon running because it's really hot. Then your car is changing from low elevation to high elevation, and lots more very, very taxing on the engine, right? So a lot of cars burn out and have lots of radiator problems, that kind of stuff while going through there. But we were fortunate to hit Grants Pass at nighttime, so not an issue. That's one of the things we were planning to do. Now we were basically driving, these multiple cars. We had several drivers with us, so we could switch out, switch in and switch out. So we tried to make it so that every person only drove 4 hours at a time, so that people could be fresh, and we could cycle through different people, and we could make it to San Francisco in, what was it, 18 hours, 20 hours from Vancouver. So after a couple switches, we would be able to do that, right? And anyway, so it got to a point where we were driving into Grants Pass, and I guess there's no one left, except I guess it got down to me. Now me, here I am, in my previous year, if I can fall asleep, subtitling a video late at night, I'm pretty sure I could probably fall asleep at the wheel of a car driving. That's probably not difficult. So. I'm not one of the ones that you probably would want to have driving through Grants Pass, that. So, but I said, okay, no problem, I can do it. I still have a driver's license. I just need a good shotgun person. So Bill was driving shotgun for me at that moment, and I remember driving through Grants Pass, to help me navigate through Grants Pass. Now Grants Pass, as you may know, is it's basically curves and S's, and it goes all the way through the mountainside of of the mountain range entering California. Now this thing is horribly lit. I mean, there is no lighting virtually anywhere. I mean, you're just basically following your headlights and all the reflective little markers that they've got on the road, on the side of the road. That's all you have, right? And it's it's if you're not fully conscious and fully on your ball, you could easily find yourself off the end of the cliff and into the ditch, right? So, and or off the end of the off the end of the side of the road, and down the down the embankment, right? So it's really, really tough. So but I remember, I had Bill, basically, I guess front seating driving me, basically every time I literally he'd have to check to make sure I'm awake, and literally tell me the left or right, or as soon as he hit the hit one of the bumpers on the median or on the side of the road, he'd be on me right away. So, but we got through that all right, and here we are. We went to our hotel in San Francisco. Now, San Francisco, we went to the International Plaza, or Japan Center, okay, which is downtown. I guess downtown San Francisco proper, I guess, and it's called the Mikado Center. And I remember we went to two various different touristy places there. There's lots of Japanese, I think the Japanese bookstores there. They also had this, I think the Mikado laser was also there. They sold laser discs and all this other neat kind of stuff there, and a whole bunch of other neat little things that was inside that sort of Japanese center that we went to, and basically we stayed there. Okay, Bill was with us.
Yeah, that was Bill.
Yeah.
And Eugene.
Were you in the van when we rear-ended that guy? No. Okay.
No, I was in.
That's right, because we were at the downtown Japan Center.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah.
That's Daisuke. You probably think about Daisuke and the. You guys nearly got beaten up at the game, at the parade.
What? The parade.
So you guys got stuck at that same weekend as a parade, at the Gay Pride Parade.
Oh, right, yes. There was a pride parade that day. Yes, that's right.
So Daisuke couldn't, because he was
laughing at
saying, I've never seen anything.
Yeah. That's right.
And then he started, took off.
That's right.
The mailbox.
Yeah, that's right. Because as soon as we got out of the hotel, that's right. It was a gay pride parade or something that was going on. It was more like the S&M show, I think. It was more than that.
Well, not scared of Richard.
Yeah.
Richard was scared.
Yeah. It wasn't. I'd say it wasn't. It was less of a pride parade, more of a, a leather show. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
that was a violent.
yeah, don't say anything. You're gonna get yourself beat up. Okay, so I made an allusion that yeah, when we were staying at the Japan Center and at the International Village, I made an allusion to the KFC accident, and I realized, okay, yeah, this wasn't the trip. What I was referring to is that I remember on one of the trips we were using the rental vans, and I remember, and I told the story in a previous episode, so I'll just kind of go really quickly through it. We had basically returned from a day shopping. We were about to go back into the International Plaza, back to the hotel, and then we're thinking, well, what are we gonna have for dinner? And then we thought, oh well, we were at the stoplight, and just right beside us, on the right hand side was a KFC. We said, hey, well, KFC. And said, yeah, that's a good idea. We could do a big bucket of that kind of stuff, and that could be our dinner, right? And so I said, okay, fine, great. The only problem is that we were at the intersection, right? So obviously we've passed that little sort of driveway or that sort of indent that goes into the KFC, right? Because we're actually at the stoplight, right? So we thought, okay, no big deal. We'll just back up, and then we'll pull into the KFC and we'll get some food, and then we're good to go, right? Now we have one of these extended budget minivans, okay? And if anybody ever decides to tell you and you go rent one of these things, get the comprehensive insurance. Trust me. I mean, we totally trashed this van that we got, okay? And it's a good thing that we had comprehensive insurance, so it's definitely a good thing. Again, maybe I'll make another episode about the trashing of a budget van, because there's some pretty good stories about that. Okay, but another episode, just go down there. Don't forget to subscribe, and then we'll get to that one. So here we are. We're at the intersection. KFC's beside us. Lyle, who's the driver at the time, goes, okay. He yells out to Bill, I do believe, who was sitting, I don't think he's sitting at the back seat, but he's sitting near the back seat, right? And he just basically says, hey, Bill, look behind us to see if it's good to go, right? And so Bill just kind of looks behind him and says, yeah, you're good to go. But because, the minivans are a larger vehicle, a taller vehicle, right? When you look out the back, you're at a slightly higher elevation, so you can't actually see the person directly. But if the person's pulled up right behind you, you can't see the guy because you actually look right over him, right? So Bill goes, "Yeah, it's clear. Go ahead." So we started backing up, and all of a sudden you hear this beep. The guy's beep, and all of a sudden, bam! And so we basically backed into the guy that was sitting waiting behind us, right? And so we got out, and then we find out that it's this young kid, like 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, right, who just borrowed his dad's like literally new Jaguar, and he's just freaking out, going, "Oh my god, I'm gonna tell my dad I just wrecked his car," blah 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 blah. And then we try to calm the kid down. It's like, no, don't worry about it. We got insurance. You guys gonna cover this, and so we had the trade information. This kid's just absolutely freaking out that he borrowed his dad's car, and he immediately goes and gets it wrecked. And I think all we did was we just impacted his bumper because we're a larger vehicle, right? And I think we just just smunched it in or whatever. So anyway, whatever. So we got all the information. We went and got our KFC. We went in, but that was a good way to freak out a little kid. Anyway, so that's the KFC story. But anyway, no. The other thing that he alluded to was the Pride Parade. Okay, now you have to understand this is late 80s and early 90s, okay? So this, concept of a pride parade is nothing like we know it today, right? It's not about, LGBTQ, TD, type of stuff, right? It's not like that. It's basically influences from, let's say, like the YMCA / Village People and Relax from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I mean, this is basically essentially a public leather show, like an S&M leather show in public, okay? So basically, you got guys basically dressed up in leather with their G strings and jock straps. Okay, that's all they're wearing, right? Chests hanging out. They're wearing leather jackets with chains and spikes and stuff like that. And they're walking around like service collars and that kind of stuff. They'd be like chained up together, or maybe in handcuffs or whatever. They'd be doing the essentially the village people, like cosplaying as the cop and type of thing, or the maybe they'd be doing like the Indian with but maybe like wearing nothing, be like shirtless, and be like all chest and of course the leather guy, right? So the leather biker guy, and that's all. And it was a very Mardi Gras type of atmosphere, right? More than just rather than just them just kind of just walking in the middle of the street sort of thing. No, they're all over the sidewalk, and they're like whooping it up, and they're making lots of noise, and basically having a sideshow, literally. If you ever if you look at the Frankie Goes to Hollywood relax video, kind of like having that in the middle of the street, freaky and scary. That if I remember at the hotel that we were having, one of the rooms that they were doing and one of the things that were going on was a Shriners convention. Okay, and even the Shriner guys wouldn't go outside with those guys, basically, running their parade outside. So basically, everyone is like was so paranoid, freaked out, of being caught in the scuffle, or being hopefully like not offending one of these guys, and all of a sudden getting themselves into like a into some sort of biker conflict or whatever, just staying out of it, and so even the Shriner guys are all inside or whatever. And I remember we wanted to get out to get some snacks or something. We all said we'd go outside, and all of a sudden we get hit with all these guys, and it's like, oh boy, like what the hell's going on? We were stuck literally in the middle of these guys, and it's like, okay, Daisuke's just cracking up laughing. It was like, telling them to kind of, keep it low key. You didn't want to like offend any of these guys or whatever else, or even worse, one of these guys might like find you attractive or something and try to take you away or something, like, or get the free feel or something. That was one of those sort of events that sort of that now that Sheldon reminds me about that. That was very, very eye-awakening. Okay, so they'll be finding that kind of interesting. Again, tend to have some more different people and that kind of stuff in my past that has gone and done different things with anime, and we'll do more shows where we go through some more pictures and more stories about how it was like during the very early stages of the Japanese animation fandom here in North America as it was growing. Okay, so I have a database of all of the different various episodes of the history of fan anime we've made, and then you can go through that, and it's organized in chapters for you, so that you can go and check out different episodes which are related to how the history of how anime was sort of started up, and basically what the lifestyle and different things were back in the late 80s and the early 90s, including pictures of what my room used to look like back in those times, and you'll see go through more of these photographs from that particular time. All right, so until next time, I will see you again.